this is Matrixity from Matrixity Muses. Welcome to my Matrix. I hope you're having a great day. I am out here at Northbridge Park and it is really comfortable. It has been so hot here in Charleston, but because of the storm coming in, I think we've got some storm winds going on. Let's see, I don't know if I can turn this around and show you, but let me see if I can show you what I see. We've got some beautiful sunset action happening. And the reason why this is going to become like a Throwback Thursday is because of the water. When I worked downtown, water was a big deal. And I know it's happening right now because the tide is extremely high here. And it's extremely high downtown. And I've seen pictures where the water is already pouring into the city and the streets are filling up with water, which is typical. And when you work downtown, believe it or not, you have to have boots. 2 pairs of boots, not just one, 2. One pair lives in the car. So 1 pair in the car always, because you have to be able to wade in from the car to the office. The second pair of boots lives under your desk because you have to be able to wade out from work to the car. Now granted, parking downtown, we had parking spaces we had to pay for about $150 a month. And they were on high ground, so your car was on high ground, at least where I bought my parking space, so I never had a problem. The fact is, though, I had lots of low ground. In order to get to my car, I had to wade through a lot of water many times. And I'll never forget this. There were a couple of momentous occasions when working downtown when the water is coming in like that with the coastal flooding. Right near our workplace, there was a manhole, and whenever the water started coming in, this manhole would turn into a geyser. So water would be gushing up. I mean, crazy gushing. I just saw a fish jump. Crazy gushing of the water. And of course, it's nasty water. It's, water that the horses have peed in. There's poop in it. It's sewage water. And the tourists don't know that because I see some of them walking in it with their bare feet, taking off their flip-flops, not realizing what kind of water that they're walking in. So that water is not good. It's nasty water. So, the geyser was one of the things. I'd always run outside when I saw the water coming in and get pictures and little videos of the geyser, which is crazy. And it would rise up. I'd say the water from the geyser would go up at least 3 to 4 feet. So it was high. I mean, that's crazy. In the streets of Charleston, you see a geyser shooting up from the manhole cover. And once the water covers the manhole, you couldn't see the manhole, but you could see the water coming up. So the force of the water pushing up through that manhole was extreme. Now, the other thing that used to happen was when the water came in, and let's say that I had forgotten to take the boots from the last time I had to wade in back to the car. So I technically would have 2 pairs of boots under my desk, which sometimes happened, which isn't good. I remember one day I was dressed to the nines. We were having lots of visitors that day. And I had walked from my car, which was on high ground, to the customs house. And on the customs house, it's high there. But where I had to go, which is right across the street to what used to be the Art Institute, was extremely low. So water had completely covered both lanes. So there I was stuck. And there was a City of Charleston team there. I think they were working somehow on the geyser or something down there with the water. And so the guy says, "You need to get over there to that building." I said, "Yes." I said, "I got a pair of boots, but I left them at work, so I don't have boots to get over there to wade in." He says, "I'll take you in my truck." And I was like, "Really?" So what he did was he drove his truck, which is parked there in the water, just like moved it over close enough so I could hop in to the passenger side. And he literally just drove me across the street and drove up on the bricks so I could get out with no water. So that lets you know that chivalry is not dead. So I was able to get to work that day. And then I was able to put the second pair of boots, take them from my desk, and put them back in the car. Because you always got to have 2 pairs of boots. Oh my gosh, okay. A boat just came by, and the wake is extreme right now. Like, okay, what's happening? Oh my gosh, look at these waves. Okay, I don't know if I can get you to see the waves, but they're coming in. There they are. Those waves are coming in, and they're crazy. Crazy waves here from the boat. And the water is so high from the tide. Oh my goodness, it's crazy. So then, and the sunset. The sun has just set, so pretty. And another memorable time, of course, it's the market. So when the water is high, the market fills up totally. So people have actually come through with their paddle boats and their canoes, and they're like canoeing and paddling straight to the market, which is kind of crazy. And one of the times the people came by in a canoe right in front of our office, so we were all outside. And you would think that being in Charleston, we would not be so mesmerized every time the water started rising, but we were. We would all leave our desk, run out to the front of the building to see the water coming in. And to see people, floating by in their canoes in front of our front office door was crazy. And where we were, if a truck came through, because the only person who could get through the water was these big trucks with these big tires, and they were really high. They could get through, and so they would come through going really fast, I guess, to get through the water so they don't stall out or something, and a wake would be formed. And so we would actually have like ocean waves kind of rolling on up to the front of our building, which was crazy. We had sandbags to help with that, but that also happened. And I remember, oh my gosh, whenever anybody was hired that was new, I would tell them, you got to have 2 pairs of boots. And they would look at me like I was crazy. I was like, you don't know what I'm talking about, but trust me, go out and buy 2 pairs of boots, one for the desk and one for your car, because you'll need both pair. So one day it was raining, and I had my boots on. I was trying to wade out from the office to my car, which was on high ground. And I got to the corner of Market and East Bay, and I thought, okay, the water doesn't seem to be so high right there. Maybe I can get through. And so my coworker and I, she was following me, thinking that I knew the way to get us through the water. And I thought I did. So we get to the corner, and I look down. You can see the water is, it's a little murky, but you can still see it. It's kind of clear. So I thought, okay, I think this is not so high, we can get through. And so we actually stepped down. And when we stepped down, it was much, much deeper than I ever anticipated. And so we sank all the way down. The water came over our boots, and the water filled up our boots, and we were done. Because at that point, it didn't matter that we had boots on. We were totally wet. It actually went up to mid-thigh. The water was so deep, but we couldn't tell that. So that day I rode home. When I got to my car, I did not even take those boots off. It was so squishy and nasty in there. I said, I don't want the water in the car. So I just rode home with the boots and took the boots off when I got home. So that was a terrible day trying to get through that water. So we've had many days like that. And actually I've, been at work when I've actually seen cars floating on East Bay Street, where the water got so deep and they should have turned around, but they were going to say, no, I'm going to go on through. The police haven't put up that barricade yet. So they tried to make it through, and of course their cars started floating, and that was crazy to look down from the 3rd floor of our building and see cars floating in East Bay with people in them. And I'll never forget, this guy had a sports car, had a low sports car. It must have been I don't know what it was, but it was a very low sports car, low to the ground. It had no roof on it, and so he must have been inside the building, not realized the rain was coming, or that it was raining, or the streets are filling up. But when he got downstairs, I guess someone told him about his car being wet. He got downstairs and his car would not start. So I think his engine was ruined. And the other thing, which was another problem as far as the water when it started to rise, was not everybody had a parking space on high ground. Some of my co-workers are parked in a lot that was in between 2 buildings, our building and another restaurant, and that lot was very, very low. The same thing with our employee garage. It was also very, very low. So when the rain started, that employee lot would fill up. Cars would get flooded out in that lot, which is terrible. So the big thing was when it started to rain, people would then start, I guess the administrative staff, they would start moving their cars off to higher ground so that their cars would not be ruined. And when it also started to rain in that lot between our building and the restaurant, employees would go move their cars too once the rain started, because they needed to move their cars to higher ground, because if not, it would be totally flooded. I mean, water up to the doors. I'm not kidding you. Water up to the doors is so low. So we've had some people whose cars were ruined because they didn't realize that, and they were new, and they happened to have a spot in there. And I tried to be the, Disaster Dora. That's what my coworkers nicknamed me, Disaster Dora, because I was always the one on top of the storms, on top of the water, running around telling people they need to move their cars if they're in a low lot, running around telling them they have to get those 2 pairs of boots, because the very first time you don't listen to me and you have to walk through that nasty water, you're going to realize you should have listened to me and gotten a second pair of boots. And that happened a lot. So that is kind of like my Throwback Thursday, because when I think about Charleston, the water, even though that storm apparently is not coming to us, we don't know. I mean, Mother Nature is so unpredictable. But as of right now, it looks like it's going to be hitting Florida and then maybe going on to Georgia. We might get rain. I think next week, toward the end of next week, we're supposed to get rain and more flooding and maybe some wind. So I'm going to try to be out and about for that storm, because I want to see some of the water, see some of the flooding, if I can get down there. I have a little car, so I don't know what I'm talking about. I have a little car. My car can't take a lot of water. Even in Lockwood, when the water is flooding, I turn around. What is that saying? Turn around, don't drown. I do that because my car will flood out in an instant or stall. So I do want to see the water. So I think there are some high places where I can go and get great pictures and show you the flooding, coastal flooding that we have here. So I don't know. I'm just mesmerized by the water, the coastal flooding. It's all good. And I know it's damaging to some people in their homes, but just the phenomenon of water. Water doesn't play. Water takes what it wants to. It doesn't matter what we do as humans do. It will move in. If it was the Atlantic Ocean and we filled in the marsh, the water's going to come back and reclaim that property. So the water is when you talk about elements, it's a key element as far as taking over what it wants to take over. So I'm out here enjoying the water. The water here is beautiful. The sun is setting. I don't know if I can get a good sunset picture and let y'all see what I'm seeing. Let's see if I can turn around the right way and get it right. Okay, let me get my big head out of the way. Can you see that? The sun has set right over there, like right over there. That's where the sun was. And it has set, so it's gorgeous. You know what? I think there's some people seeing some crabs over here. Oh my gosh, but they don't have any crabbing equipment. They're talking about crabbing, I think. But you know what? I thought the tide had to be kind of low for crabs to be good out here, but I don't know. What do I know? And then I see some people on a boat. They're trying to boat, so I don't know what's going on. Maybe this is the perfect time to go crabbing and fishing and boating. I don't know. But anyway, the water here is magnificent. I hope you'll have a great day. Enjoy the evening. And I will see you later, alligator. Bye.